Hey guys, I'm April from Giggle Glitter Graphics, and today I am doing a cat spread in my Anything Goes journal. I'm going to get things started by selecting a page. I've already pre-printed some. These are from my Cat Pages kit, and I'm going to go with this cute little black cat. I'm just going to fussy cut out some of the elements from the pages to use since I am already working on coffee dyed papers for my journal. I've selected two portions of this page to use. One is the cat and the other is the floral element from the left-hand side of the page. And I'm going to use both of these pieces in this spread. I'm going to layer the cat with this piece of fabric. It's got fleur-de-lis and handwriting on it. I found it at the thrift store in a few different colors. Absolutely love it. And I'm just going to glue that down with some Fabri-Tac. I'm mostly using Fabri-Tac and then a little bit of glue stick for this project. For the cat, I'm going to use some distress ink on the edges. I'm using walnut stain and fired brick, a combination of both. I just wanted to model that brown and kind of a pinky color all the way around the edges. With my Fabri-Tac, I'm going to run a bead of glue down one side and part of the bottom and position my cat for my pocket. And then with my scissors, I'm just going to trim those edges up. You may have noticed that this journal does not have a cover. That is intentional. I'm going to be inserting my pages into a cover once I'm done working on my signatures. This lets me kind of flip everything around and access different parts of it easier. I'm going to add a little bit of gold paint to this. This is just Artist Loft, old gold paint. I squirt it onto a paper towel and use my finger to apply it. I'm creating texture, but I'm also hiding a little bit of where the Sharpie marker I used on the other side of this page bled through. And while I don't mind that too much for the texture of it, I didn't like entirely how it looked, so I just rubbed a little paint over it and it disappeared. I made sure to carry that gold paint across to the other page just to keep things cohesive. For the left-hand side of the page, I am ready to add that floral element that I fussy cut out of my paper. I'm just going to glue the back of this with my Oohoo glue stick. I'm going to make sure I get all of the edges really well on both the page and the floral element itself. I'm going to place that down right on top of my paper and then trim it from the back. I've been trying to embrace handwriting out wording more, so I'm going to write a little saying on this piece of notebook paper. This paper is from my scrap drawer. It has a little bit of stamping and a little bit of glue on it. It makes for a nice background, but there were a couple areas I had trouble writing on. So I'm going to write out, "Life is just perfect with a furry friend by your side." I thought that was really nice to go with the cat theme. And I'm going to do the edges of this in the walnut stain distress ink. And then I do go back over with my Sharpie a second time. I did not feel like my print was dark enough, and so I went back over it to darken that up. I'm going to layer up several elements on this left-hand page. I've got these Gothic flower fussy cuts, some cheesecloth. I'm going to use a jeweled butterfly. All of these are available in my Etsy shop. I'll link everything down below for you. So I'm just going to keep building up those layers, and I'm going to cover up the bottom where I placed my paper, and you can kind of see the edge where the print stops. I'm covering that up with a little washi tape and then adding some to the right to balance it out. And then I'm going to do something kind of fun. I have these cat spool fussy cuts, and I have been dying to use them. This one has these cute little paw prints on it. So I'm just going to decorate that with a little length of lace, some washi tape just to secure it to the back while I work on it. And once I get that in place, I know I need to do a few other embellishments. So I went to my embellishment drawer and I found a whole bag of feathers. And I love this little speckled feather. I'm just going to tuck that into the lace, and it needs more. So I'd like to introduce you to my use it drawer. I put this drawer together because I would lose track of all of the things I had in my supply. So I pulled a little bit of everything and put it in this drawer. So now I'm going to start pulling this drawer out when I do my projects and use things from the drawer, and then I'll just refill it later on. So I picked out a ball pin and a little charm. I'm going to dangle that off of there. And last but not least, I can never resist adding a little bit of sequin. One gold sequin, it'll pull in that gold paint from the background and add a little bit of shine. I have a lot of these, need to use them up, so you'll probably see them a lot from me, but I like that little shiny spot. So I'm just going to glue this whole thing right down to the page. You could make something like this to tuck into a pocket as well. If you do that, you might want to neaten up the back or pin the ribbon or lace to itself to kind of finish it off better. Now I've decided I want to make a custom envelope for the pocket, and I want it to fit a piece of specific ephemera. So I've got this journal card and I'm going to construct my envelope specifically to fit this journal card. I'm just going to score and crease the sides, leaving a little extra room to get the card in and out. I just get those scored really nice, fold them over and fold them down really well. And then using my journal card, I'm going to figure out where to fold up on the envelope so that I can still grab my piece of ephemera to pull out. And then fold the top down, not too tight against that journal card to make the top flat. To finish making the envelope, I just need to cut out all 4 corners right along those fold lines. That's going to let me create the final envelope shape and get rid of the excess material. I round the corners on the flap with my corner rounding tool and hit all of the edges with that walnut stain distress ink. To attach the bottom flap to the sides, I just use a little bit of Fabri-Tac along the edges and gently fold that up and then check my fit one last time for my journal card. I probably could have left this card alone, but I decided I wanted to mix that red and brown distress ink around the edges and round all of the corners. And then I head back to my Use It box, my Use It tray, and pick out this postage stamp sticker and dig into my stamp drawer and find these postmark stamps. And I'm just going to use my walnut stain ink to stamp that right over top of the stamp sticker that I placed on the front of the envelope. For a final touch, I grab a wax seal sticker, and because I want this to be half on, half off the flap, I'm going to back it with a piece of scrap cardstock. So I just stick the sticker directly onto the cardstock and trim around it with some scissors, and then I'm going to hit the back of it with some distress ink just so it's not so white. I figure out my placement and then realize the inside of the envelope is super white. I didn't line it with anything, so I hit that with distress ink too. Then I glue my seal on by just putting some Fabri-Tac on half of it and attaching only that area. And now my envelope is ready to go in my journal. I decide I need a finishing touch on this page, so I look through my supplies and come up with a bunch of clusters, and I finally settle on one that uses some scrap paper, some crossword puzzle paper, and then a little piece of mesh fabric with beads sewn onto it. So I'm just going to hit that with my pinking shears to add some texture and glue those all directly to the page. I feel like this cluster could use one more little detail. So I grabbed the number 9. I thought maybe like the 9 lives of a cat. It was a little bit funny to me and a little bit cute. And I've had these wood numbers forever, and it was about time I used one. A little bit of lace added to the top of the page, and that is it. That is the whole spread. I really like how this cat spread came out. If you're interested in any of the digitals that you have seen today, please check out the description down below. There are links to all of the products in my Etsy shop. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.